This is page 565 of Mehera-Meher Volume 3. Mehera mentioned the idea of the memorial coming to her while she was brushing her teeth. This is the memorial at Guru Prasad to refresh our memory. Since she sometimes remembered little things about Baba's life when by herself and then forgot what they were, she kept note cards and pencils handy throughout the house so she could jot down 2 or 3 words to remind her of something. BB on her note cards stood for Beloved Baba, for example. She even kept a card and a pencil under her pillow during the night for the same purpose. After Baba dropped his body, it became difficult for Mehera to keep up with correspondence. Since she had Baba's order not to write letters, her replies had to be dictated to Meheru. To those whose letters she did not answer, Mehera said, I talk to each one in my mind. I describe to them Baba's birthday and tell them, I'm thinking of you and I remember you, but I can't find time to write. I talk to them like that in my mind. And there's a side note which says, although Mehera was not allowed to write letters, she could make notes of stories and reminders to herself. Mehera also stated that whenever she received a beautiful letter full of love, someone writing to say how much they love and miss her, for instance, she always says, Baba, it is your love coming to me in this letter. The other order Baba had given Mehera when she first moved to Meherabad about not touching men was never lifted. She told men, we are one in Baba's love. I've embraced Baba, so I've embraced each of you in Baba. Mehera often took pilgrims on a tour of Baba's bedroom, her room, and the house. In Baba's room, she admonished visitors not to kneel on the cushion where Baba's feet rested. Mehera always stopped to kiss the foot of the bed before leaving. Baba, my darling Baba, she said, as she looked towards the bed. And the side note says, when showing visitors the image on the tree from her bedroom window, Mehera reminded them that men are not allowed to touch her bed. She explained, this is not the bed Baba dropped his body on. Mehera started to cry. We don't go into that. Baba is here with us. We feel him. Otherwise, as Mani says, why would we go on living if he was not here with us? Another day she said, sometimes I feel Baba so near that I look up when I am in bed to see if he is seated on it. So near do I feel him sometimes. That feeling comes. One day, Mehera took a few of us into Baba's room to show us a rose she had placed by Baba's bed that was 4 inches across. Then she turned to Baba's bed and said, Baba, my darling Baba, you are more beautiful than any beautiful rose because your love is beautiful. She leaned over to kiss Baba's bed and then left the room. It was such a spontaneous and touching outpouring of affection, and Mehera was not at all embarrassed by our presence. Mehera once agreed to give a house tour on video. Meheru had the idea to put Baba's lift chair on the veranda and have Mehera pretend that she was coming out to greet Baba and take him into his room. The filming began. Mehera came out on the veranda and held out her arm. Then, as she entered the living room, she looked up, as if looking at Baba. She started weeping. Wistfully, she told us that she had looked, but Baba was not there. In Baba's room, Mehera caressed each photo, stroked Baba's hand cast, and offered flowers. As Mehera gazed at Baba's photo, she said, Baba darling, lovely Baba darling, sweet Baba. When shown a smaller photo of Baba, she said as she held it to herself, my darling, my sweet love, I hold you to my heart. While passing Baba's photo, invariably Mehera would talk to it. Whenever Mehera looked at a photo of Baba, said Mani, it was a meeting. For example, during the United States presidential elections in 1976, Mehera said, I told Baba, whichever candidate you like, who will be good for India, and whom you think should be president, that one you choose. And in brackets, Jimmy Carter was elected. Among world leaders, Mehera often expressed her admiration for such strong women leaders as Indira Gandhi of India, Golda Meir of Israel, and Elizabeth II, the Queen of England. One day, while speaking to Baba's picture and thinking that now, since so many Baba lovers had named their child Merwan, there were many Merwans in the world. Mehera said to him, Baba, you are the real Merwan. She showed us a picture of Ruth White when she was young, remarking how lovely she looked, but added, no one is as lovely as Baba. She explained, no photograph can capture Baba's living form, his flashing eyes always moving, his shining, beautiful skin. I call Baba all the best names, whatever you may think of. I call him my Prince Charming also. Everything about him was so beautiful. His eyes were beautiful, first of all. His hair, his lovely singing voice, his beautiful love. Side note says, Mehera was always fond of fairy tales, and in a sense, she said, her dreams were fulfilled when she met Baba. Another time, Mehera said, every day I call Baba my darling Prince Charming. In his bedroom, when I am cleaning his photos, I talk to each photo. We have to give Baba our hand, she advised. If we take one step towards Baba, he will take several towards us, but we must give him our hand. One feels drawn to him. He was so beautiful, so attractive, like Prince Charming. He was perfect in every way. He had a beautiful voice, eyes, face, hair. Everything was beautiful, from the top of his head to the tip of his toes. For us, he came. For us, he worked. For us, he suffered. Baba had many kinds of sufferings, physically as well as mentally, but he was so silent. He would not let others know. Baba is not smiling in every photo. In some, you can see that Baba carried a great burden on his shoulders. His love and divinity are so great, and his love for us was so beautiful, that now we feel love for him, because love always draws love. That is why his lovers naturally come with so much love for him. Baba's miracle was of his love. When Mehera was given the photo taken by Mani of Baba gazing upward at Upper Mehrabad in the 1930s, she held it and said, "My darling Baba, sweetheart, he is my special darling." She mentioned that although Baba wore boxer shorts under his sadra at the beginning and end of his life, in this picture, Baba had on longer lengas. Mehera kissed the picture again and said, "I'm careful not to get grease on the picture with my nose." And the side note says, see volume 1, page XV. When looking at a photo taken in 1966, Mehera said, "See, Baba was 72 when this picture was taken, and he is still so beautiful." Once Mehera became very upset that someone had cut out Baba's picture when there was another picture of Baba on the back. To cut out the front picture, they had to cut the back picture in half. Mehera said never to cut Baba's face in half. She said, "We never like to cut Baba's picture, even to cut out his face for a locket. I never do so." When someone dropped Baba's photo, Mehera said, "Always bow to the photo and kiss it if you drop it." On another occasion, when she saw Meheru blowing on a photo frame to remove the dust, she said, "Baba told me never to blow on his picture." In a chipper mood one morning, Mehera decided to give away a photo of Baba and herself to one of those gathered on her veranda. "Think of a number," she said playfully. The correct answer was 16. She chose that number, she said, because she was 16 when she first met Baba at Meherabad. To most of the visitors who came to India for Meher Baba's darshan, on the final days of their pilgrimage, Mehera presented them with a very precious treasure, a few strands of beloved Baba's hair that she had carefully collected and preserved. To each she admonished, "This is the hair of the Ancient One. Keep it safely. Put it in a safe place. It has been on beloved Baba's darling head night and day. It is part of Baba, so don't ever lose it. Treasure it and keep it carefully. Don't take it out of the plastic bag in a place where there is some wind outside. And put a napkin, a handkerchief, down before you open it." Using a crochet needle, Mehera had fashioned the hair she distributed into tiny curls. Some of the hair was gray. She explained that she had collected Baba's gray hair together from several bunches of his hair. It is a silky color, not white, but blondish. It's gray. So that means it has been on Baba's head longest, she said, half in jest, as if to console anyone who might feel that they were being given a gift of lesser value. "This gray hair has been longest on beautiful, beloved Baba's darling head." Mehera's parting advice to the hundreds who came over the years was this: take Baba's love with you. Be happy always in Baba's love. Know that Baba is always with you wherever you are, that he loves you more than you love him. That is why you are here. He loves you. Now it is time for you to love him. For that he has suffered. When you say his name, he is always with you. When you board a train, a bus, or an airplane, say Baba's name. If you say his name wholeheartedly, Baba will help you out of your difficulties. Baba, Baba said he will never fail his lovers. Somehow or other, he will help. Always be happy in his love. You are very fortunate to love Baba. Baba's miracle of love is that all the young ones who have not seen him come to Baba. Mehera explained. Once a woman wrote asking, why doesn't God answer my prayers? Baba said, not only does God not let anyone down, he constantly forgives those who let him down. He is so compassionate because we, in our work, become engrossed and aren't thinking of Baba. But that moment also, Baba is thinking of you. He never forgets you. You may forget him. His grace, his eyes are on all his lovers. Oh, I think I misread. We may forget him. His grace, his eyes are on all his lovers. He keeps watch. The only thing now is that we can't see him. He can see us. So how happy you make him with your love. It is time for us to love him. He has loved us so dearly. So beautiful his love was. All these years he suffered for us. His love was perfect for each and all. That is why he kept silence. Other suffering that he went through was for all humanity. That is why you young ones come to Baba, because you feel his love. He has given that much love, spared that much love for each one. It is not by chance that you come to Baba. Himself said, it is my love that brings you to me. It is so beautiful and wonderful to be loved by the God man. His love is perfect love. We cannot thank Baba enough for what he has done for each of us and for all humanity, even if we thanked him all our life. That is why you all feel love for Baba and are drawn to him, because of his love for you. So be happy in Baba's love. Baba is happy with your love. Take Baba with you and make him happy. Baba is with you. Thinking that way, that Baba is with you and loves you, will make you feel happy all the time. Say his name, and he is very near you, helping you always. Know that he loves you. How fortunate you are to be loved by the God-man. He comes after 700 years. So now you must pray to be with Baba physically, to serve him, to love him, to obey him. It is very difficult. So keep loving Baba and holding his daman and be ready to receive his grace when the time comes. That grace will be in this life or in the next. But Baba will never fail you. Remember this. Baba is all around us, everywhere, near us, and he loved us. So that is most important. Now we must love him. That will make him happy. It is now time to make him happy and love him. As he says, love me more and more, because he is the one worthy to be loved, because his love was so beautiful for each one. All these years, what he went through, you have no idea. Every minute, every second was suffering. Not to say a word, when he always loved to talk, to joke. He had a very outgoing nature. Such a nature to restrain it all day and in the night also. So many years and years. So much love he had for us. He gave himself for us. So beautiful was his love for us. Now we must love him. Baba's love is true love. He loved each and all because Baba said once to us, you will see my lovers. He knew each one would be coming. That time he had his fingers on each of you. It is not just by chance that you come. It is his wish and will. So we see him in you. His love brings you to him. So love him more and more. Baba is love and loves you so beautifully. There will be so many more that we won't have room on our veranda. You young ones came rather late and missed his physical presence. But better late than never. You are the torch bearers to spread his name. God only wants love, so that is what you are giving him, and he is happy. May you all be with him, who love him very dearly, when he comes in his next advent, that, that you may also come with him to love and serve him. You may not have come to Baba during his lifetime, but Baba had his eye on you. He was looking at you where each one was. Baba must have had his eye on you for so many years and years, choosing each one from here and there. So Baba drew each one to him. Baba knew each one, where you were. He brought you to him. You love Baba, and that is enough for him. Baba wants love. Saint Teresa never saw Jesus. Mirabai never saw Lord Krishna. Janabai, there are many such ones. Side note says Sant Janabai lived in the late 1200s. She was a maid servant in Saint Namdev's household and a saint and a poet in her own right. They have not seen the Lord physically, and yet they love him so much. Their names are so great. Mira's love was so great that even now, hundreds of years after she died, Baba enjoyed hearing her songs on the record player. That shows how love should be. When Baba was physically present, he was always very pleased and happy to see his lovers love. So now, how much more Baba would be happy to see you all. But he can see you. You cannot see him. Know that for sure. Baba can see you. That is why we feel as we feel now. And in brackets, not so depressed. Baba sees that we keep happy. That is what he told me on the last day. To be brave and don't worry. So, because of his remarks, that is why we feel his presence and feel happy. Only his physical presence we miss. Otherwise, he is God and he is everywhere. Mani concurred. Baba's continued presence makes it so that we can be joyous now. You, his lovers, stand at the entrance. We, his mandali, are at the exit. there's there's Mehera wielding her pickaxe for the groundbreaking for Guru Prasad Memorial. Pune, 3 February 1973. Mani Mehera Burjor Bode. Garlanding Baba's Chair, Guru Prasad Memorial, Pune, 4 February 1974. Hmm.
What is the date of the peacocks one? The one before? What is the date?
I think it was 73.
Yeah, so she lays the foundation, and so it's not built yet, and here it's already built, so it's next year. Right.
Hmm.
3 February, and this is 4th February? 4 February. So exactly 1 year later. Oh, what a beautiful picture. Beautiful mirror. Mm, mm.
It's an earlier picture
Yeah, that's Baba.
with Baba in a solar topi,
Mm,
I think. Or it could just be a Western hat. I'm not
yeah.
sure.
Mm,
Like a bucket hat. 1947, Condoba's Hill, Meherazad.
mm,
Okay, we'll pause the recording here for to change the reader.
mm. That was a long, long.
Okay, we've resumed the recording and we have Mikal Namo of Israel reading.
Thank you, Jay Baba and Mira. It's chapter 166, Act 3, Reunion. For 20 years, Mera survived without the physical presence of her beloved Lord. Yet his remembrance was alive, and instead of fading, got stronger. Every morning when she woke, every meal she ate, every time she took a bath, drank a cup of tea, heard a song, laughed at a joke, practically every moment for 20 years, Mera remembered her beloved Meher Baba. Even toward the end of her life, her love and remembrance were just as intense as they were soon after Baba dropped his body. As one pilgrim was leaving for America in 1989, Mehera said with tears in her eyes, "I still can't believe Baba is not with us physically. Even after 20 years, it was difficult for her to accept that Baba was not in his room or in Mandali Hall." Goher observed that often at 11 p.m., Mera would be standing talking to Baba in his room or talking to his photographs. Sleep didn't mean much to her. Meru often tried to cajole Mera into going to bed earlier. Mera felt the hours in the day that she spent remembering Baba were not sufficient. She kept awake as long as possible in the night, after everyone was asleep, to think of him, often going to bed in the early hours of the morning and sometimes at 5 in the morning, when we used to start waking up. When we tried to dissuade her, Mera would say, "But when can I think of Baba and be with him?" And this, after spending the entire morning with pilgrims talking of Baba. I could not help remonstrating with her. I knew how much she needed her sleep. When she finally fell into a deep sleep, it was so difficult to face the task of awakening her. But time stops for no one, and she needed to be up for the next day and the next. So on the side, Mani recalled, Mera was giving of herself to such an extent to each one that I said to her, 20 years have passed now. How long can he keep this up? We can go die, that is, we can go now. Die now, Mera said. Never say that. The longer we are here, the more we can remember him and we have known as we have known him. Each memory, Baba did this, Baba did that, and I suddenly realized that she was right. Wow, that's interesting. Wow. About 6 months or a year before Mera passed away, she and Mani were in Baba's room. When Mera became upset with Mani over something, she felt Mani was not doing correctly. Mani explained, because of our closeness, there have been clashes. There have been friction. There is bound to be with someone who is like a sister, someone you're very close to. In Baba's room, Mera said, Mani, I know we've had this long way back connection, but let's finish it off in this life, okay? Not in the next one, Manu retorted. That's fine with me. But by evening, things were different. Mara's heart was so clear and childlike, Mani explained. She gave me a special cake of soap as a peace offering. She knew I liked the fragrance. On another occasion, in Baba's room, Mara called Mani and outlined in great detail how to arrange the flowers. One day, you'll have to do this, she said. Pay attention. You will have to do this particular job when I'm gone. Mani helped her in the mornings when Mara put flowers on each picture and on the bed. It was, as I call it, a little romance between flowers and Mara, Mani reflected. Each flower had a very special place in Baba's room. Mara called Mani into Baba's room another day and told her, when my time comes, see that I am in Baba's room before you carry me out. See that only Goher and you handle my body after I go to Baba, while making the arrangements for the funeral. As usual, Mera, Mani, Meru, and Goher left for Pune in April 1989 during the Indian summer. Our last time with Mera in Pune was so special, Meru recalled. They stayed at the Pune club, watched videos, and did some shopping. It would be their last private moments with Mera. They returned to Merazad after a few weeks. And on the side note, Naja had passed away in 1982 and Rano in 1986. So they were not there at that time, in 1989. During Mera's final days, sitting on her veranda, she would wave to Mani as Mani left for the office. The last time Mera came out on the porch, she folded her hands to Mani in Namaste, like a goodbye, something she had never done before. I realize now that there was a hairline, minor stroke, Mani commented. When Mera folded her hands and said Jai Baba to me, she smiled very sweetly. I thought that I had never quite seen her smile like that. It was as if Baba, the master sculptor, had just done only that much, so that her smile became even more charming. Just the slightest bit more, and it would have become even more charming. No, just the slightest bit more, and it would have been a disfigurement. When I realized this, my heart welled up with gratitude, as Mera would have hated that, to have her face disfigured in that way. And she's talking about the hairline minor stroke. That's why she's talking about this smile and the disfiguring. In mid-May 1989, Mera was diagnosed as suffering with a brain tumor. The doctor said that, at the very least, she would have terrible headaches. They thought she should be comatose with such a large tumor in the brain. But amazingly, she had no symptoms. She only complained once that she felt a tightness in the head. nothing like the splitting headaches that Mani and Goher sometimes had. It was apparent to all that Baba was veiling Mehera from much of the physical sufferings. Goher prayed, imploring Baba to give the suffering to us, not to make Mehera suffer. But no, Goher clarified. Baba compressed what she had to go through so that it went very quickly. It happened so quickly. And just as in 1952, when what Mehera remembered of the accident was not what actually took place, Baba veiled her from much of the physical suffering at the end. She was aware and resisted the nasal tube, but then she would drift off and be unconscious of it. Baba was drawing her to him. And on a side note, Mehera's injuries in 52 accident had also been to the head. Those injuries, along with her brain tumor now, perhaps were symbolic of the destruction of the mind. See Appendix E for Mani's account of Mehera's final days. So I had it out with Baba, Goer continued. Mehera has prayed so often for so many who came and requested her to alleviate the sufferings of others. And now, my one request you can't grant? What more is there for Mehera to go through? And Mehera went praying right on the spot. For those who had asked her would always say, "If it is your will, Baba." Baba in his compassion for Mehera did not let her suffer long. Mehera also observed. Mehera then became much gentler, sweeter, as if the day-to-day responsibilities had been lifted from her. She needed to sleep a lot, as though her body was trying to make up in that short time for all the years of sleep she had not allowed herself. She seemed to forget names of people, not just the short-time pilgrims, but people she had known well, who had come often. And we saw she had a problem in trying to convey properly in speech what she meant. And on the side note it says, once when Eruch had to be transferred to the hospital, Goer herself had prayed to Baba for Eruch, but then added, Baba who loves your own children more than you. No, Baba who loves your own children more than you. You know what is best. Who can love anyone more than you? So she was praying for Eruch. So where are we? Baba, in his compassion for Mehera, did not let her suffer long. No, we read that, right? And we saw she had
Doesn't
a
hurt to
problem.
repeat it.
Okay. So Baba, in his compassion for Mehera, did not let her suffer long. Mehera observed that. Mehera then became much gentler, sweeter, as if the day-to-day responsibilities had been lifted from her. She needed to sleep a lot, as though her body was trying to make up, in that short time, for all the years of sleep she had not allowed herself. She seemed to forget names of people, not just the short-term pilgrims, but people she had known well, who had come often, and we saw she had a problem in trying to convey properly in speech what she meant. To be with her in close proximity, to be able to watch over her with greater attention, was Baba's gift to Mani, Goher, and myself. And when she slept for a while in the morning or afternoon, we could see how her face seemed to relax completely and all the lines of strain melted away. Mehera was so ready to say the Arati morning and evening, and before any words of this prayer, which she would unfalteringly recite, Baba's name would come to her lips. In fact, at other times too, Baba's name would slip out before she said what she had intended to. His name was imprinted on her heart. Baba was with her. Baba was in her. Baba was her life. As Meru mentioned, at the end, Mera forgot certain words, and when they telephoned America, she confused Margaret with Elizabeth. But she never forgot Baba's prayers and arati. Toward the end, she held up her arm over her eyes, not to take any more food. She looked so sweet, like a child, Mani said. 2 or 3 times when she was looking away, she reminded me of Babajan. She would sleep all day long if we let her. As the days passed and Mera did suffer physically, it became too much for Mani as well. Mera was such a private person, so self-contained about her person, her body, that it hurt us very much to see her have to go through some of the things during this last illness. I had it out with Baba. What is this? Why are you making her go through all this? I had in my mind that this was what our life would be like now at Merazad. We would rearrange the schedule, look after Mera. It would go on. People would come to greet her, but it was not to be. Mera's condition grew worse. The Pilgrim Center was closed for the season, and there were no visitors. From our point of view also, the timing was perfect, Mani continued. If it had been during the season, it would have been difficult. It would have been different. Had it been 15 days before, it would have been different. Had it been after, it would have been different. Baba's given us just enough time not to recover so much as to recollect and do everything. How he manages and controls everything. Meru. On the last Tuesday evening, 18 May, when I woke Mera for Arti, to which she always responded, no matter how deep her slumber, she tried to rise but was unable to sit up. She had gone closer than ever to Baba. And after that evening, she remained unconscious to the world, with her eyes closed until the last. By 19 May, Erich had given up hope. Bao too commented that day, "This is the final tearing of the curtain of duality." Mani also felt the end was near. Every morning as she touched some flowers she had preserved, which had been on Baba's body in the tomb, she reminded herself, "These are the flowers I will place on Mera's body when the time comes." Mani describes Mera's final moment on earth. Dr. Arvind Chopra had told me to lift the eyelids with my fingers to see the reaction, and I had done it with my pinky. He also said to get her to open her eyes so she would not sink into a coma. They were seeing eyes, not in a coma. But then, when I let go, the eyelids shut immediately, the lids not straight but up and down. Saturday morning, May 20th, was Buddha's birthday. Oh, I didn't know that. It was also the day Nadja had passed away 7 years before. That morning, we had no idea that Mera would drop her body. Alvin and Jiangu Sukadwala had just come. In the night, Heathers had thought Mera had stopped breathing, but the doctor said it sometimes happens. That morning, I noticed Dr. Meher Desai, Mansari's niece, looking serious and asked what was the matter. She said Mera's pulse was way up and her blood pressure was falling. I asked what this meant and remembered the same thing had happened when Rano died. Dr. Meher said she was sinking. We had agreed among ourselves to call out Avatar Meher Baba loudly 7 times if things looked serious, and we did. I held a photo of Baba Mera keeps on her dresser. The photo Mera always takes with her to Pune. The photo we put on her chest as the CAT scan was done in Pune. And on the side note it says Mera was taken to Medinova on Jangli Maharaj Road for the tests. A female technician was called as it was a Sunday. The male X-ray technician was told not to touch Mera. He politely asked whether it was all right if he put the plate in the machine to take a chest X-ray to see whether there were any tuberculosis, which there was not. Okay, so they I held the photo of Mera's I held the photo to Mera's forehead and in front of her, trying to get her to open her eyes. Look, Mera, Baba is here. Open your eyes, Mera, darling. See how beautiful Baba looks. See the garland we've placed on Baba's photo. All of a sudden, Mera's eyes opened wide. I thought, my God, I told her to open her eyes and she did it. But no, I thought she was looking at me, but she was seeing Baba. There is no doubt about it. The joy in her eyes. The eyes were open as if a door had been thrown open, as if the heavens within her eyes had opened. There was white completely around the eyes, with just a touch of moisture in the outer corners of both eyes. She held them open for about 40 seconds and then slowly closed her lids as if a beautiful curtain was falling. This time the eyelids were not flabby and out of alignment, but perfectly shut. Then she took a breath and her head went down as if she were bowing to Baba or like a queen bidding farewell to her court. Again, her head went back and she bowed. It was the most beautiful experience. She died at 9:43 a.m. And the side note says, Beidul's daughter Sarwar watch read 9:42, but it was a minute slow according to BBC Radio. And the expression on her face, a slight smile. Gore and I were tempted to take a photo. She looked so beautiful. It was as if Baba had wiped his hand over her face, removing all the wrinkles, the furrowed brow, all the suffering of the past few weeks. Her face reminded me of two things, the Madonna, the Virgin Mary, and how Mera looked when I saw her at Nasik when I was 12 and she was 23. She looked so beautiful. We burned candles for 4 days, as Baba had said that for 4 days the soul has an attachment, a link with the environment. One
Oh,
lover remarked,
I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Mikal. Let's pause the recording to change readers,
okay,
and we can also make any comments that. Okay, we're resuming the recording with Marilyn Sidus reading. Are you in Florida?
No, no,
Oh,
not now. Not yet. Where am I starting? From the very top?
from the very top. Yep.
Okay. One lover remarked that Mera looked as she had before Baba dropped his body. Her face was once again free of her grief. Here is Mera's description of Mera's passing. On Saturday morning, when Goher said that the end was near, we all gathered around Mera, holding Baba's photo before her, with Mani leading the chant of Baba's name. The men Mandali were also called into the room and joined in the singing. I was fighting inside with Baba to let her remain, but I felt him not giving way. Suddenly, after all those days, Mara opened her eyes. Mani and I held the photo for her to see, but Mara's gaze was so strong and direct, beyond anything in the room, beyond our vision. Something she was seeing, something so beautiful, so powerful, which none of us could see, held her gaze. For those few seconds that seemed like eternity, she looked on with unwavering gaze and then shut her eyes. There was no weakness here, but the strength of the soul reaching the end of its journey, seeing the beloved in all his glory. When she finally went to Baba, that night was Buddha Purnima, the full moon, the day of Buddha's birth, the day of the full moon of Buddha's enlightenment, and the day of his dropping of his human form. And this too was Mara's day of attainment, her day of reunion with her beloved. A year earlier, on 18 May 1988, when Mani was at the trust office, it came to her to write for Mehera. It came to her what to write for Mehera when she dropped her body. 2 days later, she handed the paper to Erich and said, "Keep this. Don't tell anyone, because when the time comes, I will not be able to think. I will be with Mehera." Erich noted down the date, 20 May. Mehera dropped her body the following year to the day, and Mani used the text almost word for word, changing only a few things in a telegram sent to Baba lovers across the world. Beloved Avatar Meher Baba, okay. Beloved Avatar Meher Baba has taken Mehera, his beloved, unto himself on 20 May 1989, while Mehera's body is being buried next to the Samadhi on Mehrabad Hill, as specified by Baba. The light of Mehera's supreme love for her only beloved will forever illumine the earth in the hearts of his lovers everywhere.
Let's just see what this side note. Oh, okay. It's just that minor side note about Love Street Lamp Post,
Oh,
1999. Okay, go on, please, Marilyn.
it was the middle of summer in India. Mara's body was kept in her bedroom on the 20th with the fans on and an electric cooler blowing. Blocks of ice were placed nearby and the door firmly shut to keep in the cool air. Local lovers came during the day for darshan. In the evening, at about 6:15, according to her wishes, her body was carried in a stretcher to Baba's room, where the prayers and arti were recited. Mara's body was placed on sheets on the floor in front of Baba's bed, as she had instructed. Then it was brought through the outside door, the door through which Baba's body was also carried, and into Mandalay Hall. There's the asterisk. Mehera had originally said she didn't want her body to be kept in the hall before being taken to Mehrabad. But a few years before, in November 1986, when she went to pay her respects to Pendu's body, before she even stepped into the hall, ah, um, thank you. She saw Baba seated in his chair. "Bob is there," she declared. That changed her mind. And that changed her mind, and she said she didn't mind if her body was brought to the hall afterwards. So now where am I? Um, oh, by the asterisk. The stretcher was placed, thank you, on 4 blocks of wood in front of Bobby's chair. Ice was placed around it. A plastic sheet was kept underneath. Fans were hooked up and the cooler brought inside the hall. An all-night vigil of songs and reminiscences ensued. Monty suggested Swanee, the first song Mara had taught Baba, and Jeff Wolverton and Heather Nadell sang it. Also Mara's song, but not Begin the Begin, which Monty said Mara did not care for much. An atmosphere of joy rather than sorrow pervaded Mandalay Hall that night. It was a palpable feeling of happiness for Mara, who was free, finally, to rejoin and remain with her beloved ever after. For some, the author included, the feeling of joy emanated. They, they said because they actually felt Baba's physical presence in the hall that night. At one point, Mani brought the rose petals that had been on Baba's body inside the crypt in 1969, which she had preserved for 20 years. These she placed under Mara's blouse over her heart. Janet Judson, another Western resident who had been assisting at Merazad, was beside Mani. I was watching Mara's face, and when Mani placed the rose there, a wave of joy rippled over Mara's already radiant face. Oh, there's something here to read about the Begin the Begin. Should I go back to that?
Sure, yeah, that's okay.
What Mani meant was that Mara did not like to hear Begin the Begin because of the association the song had with the time of Baba's passing, when it was played repeatedly in his samadhi. Now, Mani spoke about Mara's final days, remarking regrettably, excuse me, that even at the end, so many things had to be given up. Medical things she would never have liked were done to her. That too, Mara had to go through. Mani noticed also how much Baba loves each of us, that he left his most precious, cherished gift for you all for 20 years to share, to have. Now it is her turn to be where she wants to be. For me, I know she's happy. Where else would you want to be but with Baba? Not that we ask or want, whatever is his wish. But then how can we grudge her that joy supreme? But my attachment was linked very much with Mara right from the start. That's what I miss. Act 3 has begun, Mani observed. Act 1 was our lives with Baba. Act 2 was the time after Baba dropped his body. Now, Act 3 has begun. Meru stated later, in dear Mara's passing, we are happy for her, knowing that she has returned to the loving arms of her beloved, where she had so, excuse me, so long to go these many years. Yet, so beautifully, she had fulfilled the role her beloved had asked of her. But we miss her every moment of the day. How deeply her heart longed for that day of reunion, yet 20 long years went by that she continued to live with us, smiling through the pain. Bravely, she faced this life, striving ever to please her beloved in every way she could. Meru mentioned how far we, in which she included herself, have to go to become like Mera. For example, Meru said, every morning Meru's first thought upon waking is of what she has to do that day, of whom she has to speak, and so on, whereas Mara's first thought was always of Baba. Immediately upon waking, Mara's very first thoughts were of him. It sounds easy, but try doing it. One thing Mara loved was to see the full moon. She delighted in trying to find Baba's face in the moon. She always called Mani outside to see it, just when Mani was relaxing with a book on the sofa. The last thing Mani wanted was to get up, but she would go and look at the moon with Mera. So Mera would have been quite pleased that there was a full moon on the night of 20 May with rings around it. We all saw it rising as if it were peeking into Mandalay Hall, where Mera's body lay in state. Mera's body was taken out of Mandalay Hall from the back door at 6 a.m. and placed in the Hupo, a trust van. It was driven to Meherabad with other cars following. At Meherabad, the coffin was placed on the Sabha Mandap for people to have darshan. Mera's casket was polished wood with thin molding on the bottom and four silver colored plated metal handles on the sides. A blue silkish type material lined the inside, which was padded. Mera was dressed in a blouse and skirt of salmon pinkish hue. The blouse was a paint-like print of small flowers of different colors. A pink scarf was wrapped around her head, another white cloth inside to support her jaw. Her hands were folded across her stomach and tied. Across her throat were three roses. A single rose was on her feet, and a garland of flowers, white jasmine with yellow marigolds accenting, draped across her. Oh, the Sabha Mandap is a covered stone platform opposite Meher Baba's tomb after he dropped his body. Falu Mystery had made another garland with roses from Merazad, and this too was placed on her. At Meherabad, lovers offered individual flowers inside the casket as they said their final farewell. Mera was buried wearing the two gold rings, which Baba had told her never to remove. During her last illness, when her fingers had swollen with the IV, the rings were removed and tied to her wrist. When the swelling went down, they were put back on. The ring given by Upasni Maharaj was of pliable gold and had worn down so much that before Mera died, Goher had taken the ring to the bazaar to have it strengthened. On the sidebar, it says Mera's gold bangles had been cut off when her wrist swelled during the IV drip, and these were not buried with her. After everyone had placed a rose inside the coffin, Mera was taken inside Baba's tomb and placed head first in front of his crypt. Meru offered a flower from Mera to Baba and placed it on the samadhi. After the prayers were said and the arti sung, Mera's body was taken and placed on a bench to the right of the tomb. Then the casket was shifted to the front of her grave. After all had put Jolly's flower curtains on it, the lid of the casket was closed. Supported by a blue rope, it was lowered inside the grave. Mani had kept 2 bags of earth that had been under Meher Baba's feet during the week after he dropped his body. One she always knew was for Mera, As she related, for 20 years it had been in her room, and she brought it to Meherabad now. A bit of this earth she sprinkled at the side of Mehera's body inside the coffin. The rest she distributed for people to toss over the coffin once it was lowered into the ground. Mehera looked so radiant when she dropped her body that Goher had suggested to Mani that they take a photograph of her, at least of her face, of her head only. Nevertheless, Mani said no. It was Mehera's wish not to be photographed after she passed away. And on the sidebar, Meru also said when Mehera passed away, her face, her expression was so beautiful, so serene, so peaceful. I cannot describe how beautiful she was. Mani sent word that absolutely no video recorders or cameras were to be used, as Mehera was adamant that no photo be taken of her body. Excuse me. Why do you want to remember us like that? Mehera often asked. She was not happy with Don Stevens for arranging a film of Baba to be taken in the crypt in 1969, and she was annoyed with the author for taking photos at Padres and Rano's funerals. The author had mentioned taking a video to Erich, and he thought it a good idea. Bao said also, yes, there should be a record of Mehera's burial. So here it says, oh wait, do I read that part now or no? That's all the way down there. Okay. It was not to be. Mani called the author privately at Meherazad and said that she had promised Mehera that she would make sure that no photographs were taken. The author argued that since Mehera was now merged in Baba, she would not mind. Mani explained that she simply had to request this as she promised Mehera. I then understood and said that I would respect her wish to fulfill her promise to Mehera. I had brought my video camera and and still still camera to Meherazad, and I took them with me to Meherabad for the funeral. At Meherabad, Mani, on her own, said that when the flower jollies were being placed on Mehera's grave, after it is filled with earth, I could shoot some videos and take some photos, which I did. It was 9:45 a.m. when the final har garland was placed on Mehera's grave at Meherabad on 21st May, exactly 24 hours since Mehera had dropped her body. After placing a garland on Mehera's samadhi 9 days later, Mani said poetically, "The fragrance is not of the roses, Mehera. It is of your love." There's an asterisk there. Some are confused about the purpose of bowing down at Mehera's tomb. Mani once humorously explained why she did so. After bowing down, Mani rose and asked a young woman standing nearby, "Do you know why we bow down at Mehera's tomb?" "We do it so that some of her love for Baba will rub off on us." That's funny. Okay. I remember when I was in India, and this isn't the reading, but I just share this. And we were by Mehera's tomb. Mani had said, "Do you know why we bow down to Mehera's tomb?" And she said, "We do so because of love." Okay, that's what I remember. On the first anniversary of Mehera's passing, after taking oh, maybe it was just bowing down to the Samadhi period. Okay, on the first anniversary of Mara's passing, after taking darshan at her Samadhi, Mani prayed, Mara, help us to love Baba as he should be loved. Help us to please him as he should be pleased.
Thank you, Marilyn. We'll stop here because
Okay, thank you. Jai Baba.